So this your friend? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. May Allah Ta'ala accept your efforts and your endeavors and everything that she does, even if it's a thought of Islam. May Allah put it inside of your account for your benefit. But about that too, in Islam, we have a reward system. And everything is like if you help somebody become Muslim and join the straight and narrow path, everything that person does goes in your account as if you actually did it yourself. So
I get good deeds for you. I need lots.
Hidden agenda. Okay, alhamdulillah. And then alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. That's ja'ala. Nah, we got to say a prayer before you talk about Islam. It's better to say a prayer. We say that specific prayer. That's what the Prophet ﷺ used to do and used to say. So if y'all remember that, I won't say it or whatever. Prophet ﷺ did say that all speech is cut off if it doesn't begin with the tahleed of Allah, giving praise to Allah. Tongues can get out of control, very out of control. So, okay, I like to do things like as far as I like to do it with questions, because sometimes you can talk about stuff and it ain't where people might be in their own personal studies and interests. So if either one of y'all have any questions, that'll make this a lot less painful. I did bring books, we could do some books stuff, but most of the time I'll just read from this book. It's called Aqidah al-Tahawiyah, a big Muslim scholar from Egypt, and they real big. And in his time period, there was a lot of what we call bid'ah. You know what bid'ah is? Bid'ah is like when people add to the guidance of God. And he was like one of the big scholars, worked in a masjid, or, he studied in the masjid. They didn't really work in masjid at that time. So a lot of people came to him and was having him straighten out a lot of innovation that came into the guidance of God, and he was working it out. So it ended up turning into an actual book, which is called Aqidah Tahawiyah. Aqidah just means principles. Tahawiyah is his name. It's actually not his name, but it's where he's from. It's in Tahawiyah in Egypt. So he basically codified the foundational beliefs of what we believe and what we don't believe, and he broke everything down. It's very, very surface. It's detailed on the surface level, but it's enough to last a person a decade or so to learn it and practice it and understand it, which is the most important part. They have deeper books written by other scholars that fine-tune all these different concepts, but he just basically put them all together and laid it out so that at that time period, people who didn't have time to live in a masjid or have access to an imam, scholar or something, they could have this book and know where they should be, give themselves some guidelines. So it's a good book. It's a good book. I've been studying out of it since end of 2014. So I'm still working with it, man. It's a good book. But if you have some questions, since you're the newbie. Okay. So y'all want
Do you have any questions?
Not yet?
Not yet.
Yeah? Doesn't matter. Except for like the girly stuff, she can teach you how to girly stuff. I don't have that much experience of being a woman inside of Islam, so I leave that to
I had a bit of a pre-class.
Oh, did you?
We were here.
Well, you guys have, just so you know, I guess that flyer that goes out in the email, it said from 12 to 1.
Oh, that's the...
right, but it says for the Islam 101, I can show it to you.
Oh, it said 12?
Yeah, it's misprinted.
It is.
So,
It's the doctor.
Sam?
Yeah, so I took her and showed her the masjid and explained a little bit about, you know, the difference between where men pray and women pray and why, and, you know, some things like that. Yeah.
How was your tour? You like it? Okay. I just do a couple of these and maybe talk about it if we need to talk about it. Stop me wherever y'all want to if y'all have questions. But you know, when I was learning, well, I'm still learning, but when I was in like my intensive trying to get my faith package together, my teacher would be going. I had so many questions, and I started writing them down, but that became a problem because I had to list a whole notebook sheet full of questions. And then as soon as he was done, he was like, okay, anybody have questions? I'm like, then his brother got mad. Like, man, you always ask no questions. We don't ever get to ask our questions. So if y'all need to stop me. If something doesn't make sense or if it need to be broke down, then stop me and let me know. Okay.
What do you want to know, before you get started, what do you want to know most about, like the practices, or, like I also told her about the 5 pillars of Islam today, and that's the first that she heard of them. I did give her a book about how to pray, and I think she was praying, or still is, or whatever, but, you know, like she hasn't taken her Shahada or any of that yet.
Okay, well.
So
make sure and set it up.
That's one thing. I know when I took my Shahada a long time ago, actually I was attending in the Westchester Masjid, the new Muslims class, and also a halaqah for ladies. Okay. And we did it after a ladies' halaqah, and then all the ladies that I had gotten to know for some time were there to witness with me.
And you can put one of those together.
Yeah, we could, but I'm just giving you an idea of how you know.
Do you understand? Before we do it, the beginning of this, it breaks down the 5 pillars. That's what all this is.
Yeah.
It's a life study. It gives you an understanding of there's only one God. You have to pray, paying zakat once a year, making Hajj, the pilgrimage to the hometown of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ once in a lifetime, and fasting. I switched over around, but fasting for that pilgrimage. It breaks all that down, but that kind of stuff is like law. So most of this gets into a little bit of that, but this breaks down the first the first principle or the first 2 principles. They kind of interchangeable. Believing in one God and praying 5 times a day. It's like directly connected. So this book breaks down. That part that we have for this book talks about the fact that there's only one God. It stresses that because that's the model tone of Islam. That there is one God. There's a reason for that. That's the gist of it all. And there's a whole understanding to it. It took me some years to get to it. I accepted it because I liked Islam and all the different stuff that came with Islam. But the most important principle of Islam, which is Tawheed, Tawheed in Arabic means to make something one, and that one and only. Which basically, you could say it means unique in English. So breaks that down. That's the first pillar. But do you have any questions about the Shahada? Did y'all talk exactly what the Shahada thing is? It's a popular female name too, Shahada. Shahada means the word comes from Shahada. That just means to witness something. So when a person does Shahada, it's a kind of it's not actually a ceremony. It kind of turned into that, but it's not actually that. You are Muslim as soon as you make your mind up in your heart that you're Muslim. So when people get together and they do it, it's not really for you, it's for everybody else. So that the people in the community know that you're Muslim. So that's they're witnessing. So when people say I'm taking my shahada, then they do it in front of people, credible people. The best way to do that nowadays is in the masjid. Like they've been doing a couple of them every week here at Jumu'ah. That's when you catch the entire community. And it's kind of tedious to go find a trustworthy person because it should be like 1, 2, or 3 trustworthy people, but everybody's trustworthy, right? So if you do it in the masjid,
There's somebody strong in their faith.
yeah, who would deny it? Even if they are doing everything else up under the sun, everybody is a good Muslim or a good worshiper. But if you do it here and it's public, then you need 3 at the most, 1 at the least. Depends on who you ask. And if you do it here, then you're definitely going to get that, because everybody's here on Friday for the most part. So basically, casting establish that you are Muslim. So brothers will know to ask you for marriage. People will know that people have rights inside of Islam, like stuff that we can't get out of regardless. Especially in marriage, women have certain rights that is mandatory. People don't always follow it. That's another conversation. But the way it's set up, everybody has a role. The man has a role. The woman has a role. The people inside of society, they have a role. Everybody has their duty assigned to them. So everybody would know to believe you're a believer, so to speak. At least they can give you the greeting of peace. They see we see Muslims out in the grocery store just doing anything all the time, and you never want to miss an opportunity to get a blessing, because all your blessings erase all the bad things that you do. So something as small as you see your brother or your sister, hey, Assalamu alaikum, you get 20 rewards just for that. And then you get a 10 extra on top of that 20, which could be 30 if you respond in a light fashion or if you initiate it. So some people might wonder, because a lot of people wear headdresses or whatever. I even seen, me and my son, we had even seen a guy that had a jalabiya on at Walmart the other day, and we salamed him. He was like, oh, sorry, we thought you was Muslim. He was like, no. And he was like, why'd you think that? He was like, because you got on Muslim clothes. He's like, no, this is Middle Eastern clothes. All right. Whatever that is. So people wear stuff all the time. So people who are born Muslim have been Muslim for a long time. So you can't say salam to everybody, but you can kind of tell if somebody's a believer. But to say, if somebody see you out in the broad society, they ain't going to just write you off as one of the people who just dressing like this, and you can get you some blessings. You have to spoke about that? Oh, okay. But one thing that's important to know is we are on a tracking system. It's like a bank. That's what the word deen. I know you heard the word deen before, right? People say all the time, like, man, you don't know what deen. That actually comes from us, the Muslims. The word deen is like an account. You add them, subtract them, stuff. So all your deeds and everything that you do in life will be added and subtracted, and then it'll be tallied up on the day of judgment. And you're going to get your reward and your punishment. Inshallah, we'll all get the reward, and Allah will excuse our punishment. So, beyond anything that you can get, I don't care. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said that if you read the Holy Quran in its original language, in the Arabic, he didn't say that, but he said if you read the Holy Quran, even if you just say 3 letters, if you say a word, if you say 3 letters, and he gave an example, so if you just say alif, ba, ta, then you get 30 blessings. So he's telling us, also, he's definitely telling us to read the Holy Quran, learn the Holy Quran. There's some incentive, some divine incentive to read the Holy Quran. You get blessings for it. On the back end of it, you're going to inevitably get understanding. You're going to get wisdom. Okay, if you're non-Muslim, you read that book and you'll be like, that makes sense. And then you'll subconsciously start incorporating those things in your life. That's how people become Muslim. They always pick it up. That's how I became Muslim. I was curious to pick it up. It was like, this makes sense. Like, why would I not do this? So that's the first thing. But the second
That's
thing
a
is,
tough way to do it.
huh?
That's a tough way to do it.
Oh, well,
Because the Quran is tough to read.
it is extremely tough to read. Now, I didn't pick it up and start reading in Arabic. I was
No, I
reading
mean,
English.
even the English translation of it, or English, the meaning of it, it's difficult to understand sometimes.
It is. That's the big stuff for the big people. That's what the questions and stuff like this is for. You know, I sit down with the big teachers and, you know, work out those types of issues. But you'll get something from that book. But inside of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was really trying to emphasize to us that everything that you do that is good and it belongs to your practice, your religious practice, you get rewarded for it. Why not do it? How could you lose? If Allah is going to reward you, if God is going to reward you for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ also said that to encourage us to give charity, because in the Holy Quran, charity is so important. People don't understand how important charity is. Every single time that Allah mentioned prayer in the Holy Quran, He mentioned charity. Every single time. And He knows better what's inside of His book. But as far as the scholars, the big hats inside of the religion, the ones who memorize it forward and backwards, every single time prayer came, charity came right behind it. Wa'atu salah, wa'atu zakah. Those are like commands. Atu salah is establish your prayer. Atu salah. And then right behind it, God comes and say, wa'atu zakah. And establish your charity. And the Prophet ﷺ, he even said that it don't have to be money. Charity is good character. Being a good person, that's charity. And the Prophet ﷺ proved it by saying, give charity, even if it's just a smile to your brother or your sister. They're a brother and sister. Assalamu alaikum. We got a whole bunch of blessings right there. We're talking about the reward system. You could do something as small as that. Just have a good face, a good smile, a good attitude, deal with things in a positive manner, and Allah is going to immensely reward you. Like, there's no price tag on the blessings system in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah will reward you minimally 10 blessings, at the maximum 700, and whatever else He want to do. So just for that, inshallah, Allah gave me, that would have been 21. That's 3 people that would have been at maximum 2,100 blessings. But
I have a question.
Okay.
Yesterday, I'm going through the drive-thru. I'm about to go get me a sandwich from my Kessel. I had $1. This lady stops me. Oh, I need something to eat. I'm so hungry. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm hungry too. You can have it. And I'm like, please, can you just let me make it home? Can I go to work? I'm hungry. And I'm praying, like, can you just stop my stomach from hurting? I just gave her my $1, but by the time I got to work, my stomach was hurting either. But do that count or not? Because I'm like, I'm hungry too, but you can have it. But it wasn't not no smile, nothing.
That's a lot of those better than me, but that's better than the smile.
I was on my way to White Castle. She seen me. She met me in the street.
Next time, now that you know the benefits, next time you'll do it with a smile.
Well, inshallah, you still get your credit
Like,
for
you
it.
still get credit for it, yeah.
Because, you still, once you make your mind up, like, I think I'm going to do
I was
this.
hungry too.
And that's the Prophet ﷺ described giving charity to us. And it's even in the Quran. That's the best kind of charity. Now, if I got $100,000 in my bank account and that situation happened, okay, of course I can. But the last dollar, that's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah,
You said you was on your way to work?
No, I was on my way to White Castle. Didn't work.
Didn't work, yeah. The final destination was work, right? And you said that by the time you got there, you wasn't even hungry anymore, right? So that just
From Mitchell to downtown.
That right there is proof of the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should look out and search out those types of instances and take some wisdom out of it, even if it might hurt a little bit. Everything that you go through is some wisdom in it. Of course, you know that. But the actual wisdom inside of that is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala proved to you that you don't need $1 in order for you to satisfy your hunger. You need Him to satisfy your hunger. It's actually a chapter in the Holy Quran. Allah emphasized that. Surah Quraysh. I ain't gonna recite the whole surah. It's extra stuff. We'll get to that maybe. But inside that chapter, Allah Ta'ala, I don't want to confuse you, God. When I say Allah, that's God. When I say Ta'ala, that just means the Most High. Or Subhanahu wa Ta'ala means glory belongs to Him, and He is the Most High. Subhana. You learn that stuff. You can just say the most. Until you learn it, you can just say Allah the Most High. I got a bad habit of keep saying Arabic. I do it for myself because you should glorify Allah's name every time you say it.
You should say it in Arabic, she'll learn.
Oh, okay. Sure. Well, okay, here's your first Arabic lesson. Ta'ala. Ta'ala. That's it. That just means that word doesn't even mean the Most High. That's like, it's not even as high as you can go. It's beyond that. That's what Allah is. Allah is not, like, you can't fix Allah in a certain place. And even when people say, I pray to Allah, Allah not there. How you can put Allah, like I put stuff on top of the roof. There's paint on top of the car. So there's something on top of the top. So you can't put anything on top of Allah. You can't put Allah in a place. It's not there. It's better, though, in our understanding to say Allah, because everything that's down here and within reach, of course, Allah is not that. So it's figurative. That's a whole different thing. But Allah, Most High, prove to you that your hunger is quenched through Him. Your pain is eased by Him, not by the medicine or anything. In that chapter in the Quran, it's called Quraysh. Quraysh is the tribe, the neighborhood where the Prophet grew up. Not the neighborhood, but his family name. There was a guy named Quraysh, and he descended from them, and his descendants were like the Waldorfs in that time. So they were the high up people. The Prophet ﷺ comes from them. So God named that chapter Quraysh after the Prophet ﷺ's people, because they are so high and proud and mighty of who they are, what they've done, what they've accomplished, so on and so forth. And so, people like that. But Allah was trying to impress on them, you ain't nobody. I made you who you are. And He proved it to them by explaining to them in that chapter, how do you think you get, they used to travel from Mecca all the way up to Syria. So that's like going from Cincinnati to maybe Michigan, something like that. And they used to do it on a horse, walk, whatever, camel, whatever, however they drove back then. And, nothing would happen to them. They go, do their trading, make their money, and come back. And Allah was explaining to them, okay, that thing that you love so much, money, you're going there and getting it, and you're coming back, and you're safe, and you actually been successful at doing it. Who you think is establishing that? That's the same principle what you experienced yesterday. It ain't the money that's making you satisfy your hunger. It's not your car. It's not your job who gave you the money. All those are the means. They're not the end. So we need those things. And that's a whole conversation within itself. Why we need those things and the relevancy of the means. It's a very, very relevant conversation because everybody has made the means the actual end, and that's backwards. That's what the worship of one God is about. You don't worship those things that help you get to God. That's the opposite effect, and it's very, very, very easy to slip into that. It's the name of the game. So yes, that counts big time. May Allah Ta'ala reward you for that great deed that you did and that beautiful endeavor and show of faith that you've done. That's the essence. You already know what we're talking about, what I'm trying to teach. You know about the good character. That's charity. You got that charity from handing somebody some actual money, and you got the charity of good character. So Allah Ta'ala probably gave you 14, 15, 1,600 blessings and you never want to miss. Sometimes people miss the opportunity. Sometimes you can't do it, and a lot of times, you know, I've turned down those types of opportunities. I always pray for them. And I say, brother, I'm tight. I'm tight like you are. You know, I'm working. My hands to the bone.
I'm hungry too, huh?
Yeah. I tell him, I said, you know, may Allah make your situation easy. So I'm gonna get some reward regardless. Right. I consider myself from the poor people, so you know, we're the ones that are to be provided for, even though we can still help out from what we have, which is what's best. And the Prophet Muhammad said that if there's enough for one, there's enough for two. You know, there's so much wisdom in that alone. So, but that's the shahada stuff. It's for everybody else, so that they can pay you your respects, get their blessings. You can definitely get yours when you see people out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. People get frustrated. Sometimes they don't get the greeting back, or they might get a weird look, like, who are you? Whatever, you got yours. So I encourage you. That the Prophet ﷺ said, spread peace. And he wasn't talking about going to work for the United Nations, even though that's cool. But how is everybody? The United Nations doesn't make peace. The people make peace. The easiest way to do that: wish peace on people, strangers. People underestimate the divine blessing that we were ordained, we were commanded by Allah, the Most High, to implement whenever we see a believer. When you see a believer and you say to them, Salamu alaikum, peace be on you all. Not more than one of you. It took me years to know that too. Because when I started learning Arabic, like alaika, like alaika would be for him. Alaiki would be for you, like a girl. So I was like, why is it kum? And why is it? Kum is for people, a lot of people. I'm like, why is it? You know, I'm saying salam to a lot of people as opposed to one person. I'm saying to one person. But there's two things about that. The first thing is you have two angels with you all day, every day. Did you learn about them yet?
Well, Captain Mom.
Okay.
She left me for a while. She had to do her in Egypt. So I was on my own for what? A month?
A few months.
2 months? So I kind of...
I'm sure she came back with all kinds of
yes,
wisdom.
I kind of did my own till she could get back to me.
Okay, so y'all touched on that a little bit.
Yeah.
That was simple. Very simple. Those angels record everything good and bad that you do. A lot of people
keep track of my deeds, but not everything you notice that you do.
You don't have to keep track of it.
No,
You got your friends taking care of it.
Y'all just gave a lesson. You understand it. I had one person we were talking about that, and the Italian was helping do a while back, and he was like, man, that sounds some cartoon stuff, man. I'm supposed to believe that. And I was like, simple with your logic. And he looked at me funny. Wow, I looked at him. I said, with your own logic. He didn't understand. And I told him, I said, of course there has to be divine entities recording your good and bad. Because as soon as you see that hellfire on the day of judgment, you will not admit to anything that you've done. You're not going to, I don't care if you killed your mama and shot her point blank range in the face and you was the only one there, or you might have been convicted for it and the whole society put you on the news and they knew you did it, and you go to prison 20 years later, you meet a bunch of different people, they don't know that you did it. You're a good guy, you changed, whatever. You go on the day of judgment, and then Allah call you up. Of course, Allah know everything anyway. You know, Allah call you up and say, okay, you shot your mom in the face. You can't come to heaven. Or even that doesn't mean that, don't get me wrong, God can forgive that. Will he? That's a debate. You got it with yourself. Just don't knock on that door. That's all I'm saying. But not killing your mom. But
right.
Please don't kill your mom. But I'm saying the debate is about saying God will forgive something or he won't forgive something. People who come into Islam have an issue with that, mainly because Christianity teaches that God will forgive you for a fact. It's kind of that infomercial kind of understanding. This is guaranteed. Only thing that's guaranteed is what Allah, is what God, his thoughts, his will. That's the only thing guaranteed. So I was explaining to the brother that those angels have to be there, and it belongs to the logic of man that those angels have to be there to record all your deeds for you. And you know you did it. Now, I learned this over a series of years. I had to keep asking different parts, because first it does sound like some cartoon stuff. Like, I'm supposed to believe these angels are right here. How and why? I can't touch them. I can't feel them. I can't see them. I can't smell them. This is the understanding of a human being. The second thing is, okay, all right, there might be some angels there. I like this book of Quran, whatever.
You can't touch, feel, or smell God either.
Neither. Yeah. That's the whole thing.
He's there.
Oh, for a fact, and it's proof. I had to go through a lot to figure that thing out. And then my teacher, my first teacher, he told me, he was like, no, the proof isn't for God. He knows everything. He is for you. And I'm like, I'm a timeout. I know I did it. Now, whether I admit that I did it on the day of judgment is something else. But I know that I did it. So how is it for me? It's for you, because that is Allah, God, proving that He is the most just. So the evidence is there. The best example, my teacher, my first teacher, Sheikh Ayub, you know Sheikh Ayub, right? He said it'll be like a movie. The best way that they can explain it'll be like a movie. You know how, well, not even a movie, surveillance. That's a better way to put it. It'll be just like surveillance. Even some scholars go as far as to say, like surveillance and technology and stuff like that, it's like an imitation of the divine. You can't imitate the divine, but you know what I'm saying. They play it like, oh, if you ain't do this at this time, at this. So that is a third-party evidence. It ain't you and your own conscience. It ain't Allah. It don't belong to Allah. It's these angels. They recorded it, third-party conscience. They got the date, the time, how many breaths you took while you were doing it, how many steps you took, how many times you touched that sin, whatever. They got it all on record. So you or nobody or anything in creation can ever say, man, that wasn't right, man. God ain't give me. I wanna get back in court. Ain't no get back in court with God. It's done, this over, sir. Heaven or hell. So that's what those angels are about. I don't remember how I got those angels, but
you know that in Salah, at the end when you say Salaam alaikum, on either side, you are saying that to the angels.
That's how I got on angels, about Salam. So that's what the kum is originally for, is you definitely want to greet those angels that are with this person. They will record. Your angels are going to record it, and her angels are going to record it too. Yes, this day, Abdul Kabir said Salam Alaikum, whatever, and if, however far the angels can see, if we did anything else good, my angels will see it and their angels will see it too. So we all working together. It's kind of like in a business meeting or whatever. If you come to meet one person and he has his constituents with them, you're going to be nice to them too. Oh, hi, how you doing? Oh, hi, good to meet you. Nice, same thing, but it's on a much higher level. So you give a piece to the person, definitely give peace to the people who are in control of your record. People, another conversation. But a lot of another conversation. See, there's a lot to learn.
It's deep.
But,
you know that by now.
The second thing about getting the blessings for salam, or saying plurally, it might be a jinn or a person around here that's Muslim that you can't see. So if it's like if we're in the aisle in a grocery store, I see you, and this has happened to me before.
Wait a minute. Do you know what jinn are?
Yes.
So it's ghosts or
Great
spiritual things around you. Yeah.
Another conversation. We'll brush on that a little bit, because that can be a tripwire for people who aren't learning Islam. But if you're in a grocery store in the highway, and then there's some Muslims on this side, but you can't see them, you behind the ketchup, and they're behind the mustard. I see you. Hey, Assalamu alaikum. You get it, and I get it for that person too, because I make my intention to say it for more than one people. Then you go around the corner, you say, oh, there's another Muslim. Assalamu alaikum. Like when we be out with the kids, I taught them about that. They literally compete. Dad, there's a Muslim, and they run up. So, there you go. So people be like, man, who are these baby kids? I think they get just loud, but you get blessings. So everything is in an account. Everything you do, bad or good, it would be for you, I guess, you on the day judgment. The bad things you do is only one bad deed. And yes, Allah is unfair to himself, but he's fair to us. So you do something good, you get 10 blessings minimally, 700 maximally. And he knows better than I do how much he's going to give you. So you do something bad, you only get one. So you say a bad word to somebody, you be mean to somebody, you hit somebody, you withhold somebody's right. That's just one offense. When you do something good, you get it in multitude. The Prophet said, encourage us to do good deeds because the good deeds eat up the bad deeds like fire does to wood. It disintegrates it. It eats it up no matter how high it is. Fire burns through any wood. So do your good deeds. They wipe off your bad deeds. That's a very important thing to grip. Because I don't know if you were Christian or not before. I was. And we live in a Christian-based society, so everything, the whole mentality out here is Christian-based. So you will always hear it. I know you've heard it, and you'll continue to hear it. You'll hear it more now. And I know you've heard it before. So it's not about good deeds. It's not about what you do. If you believe such and such, then you'll get salvation. That's really not even in the Bible. Jesus never once ever said that, not one time. Another conversation. But this is the mentality, and people will deal with you in that kind of way. Don't forget about that. Allahu We got about 9 minutes before we pray. Okay, that's that. So, inshallah, y'all set something up or do Jumu'ah. And I don't know if you like to be English or not, but good evening. Well, y'all up there, so. But the sisters that are up there, they'll all, give you hugs and congratulate you. The imam will speak through the microphone. He'll ask you to repeat some words. It's not a trick. He's not seducing you. I promise you. Because I've had situations, I'll be like, okay, repeat after me. He'll be like, for what? And then you start saying it, and it'd be weird. But the words, you just say what you just heard. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I bear witness that there's no God other but God, and that Muhammad is his messenger. That's it. That's the shahada. And then when you say that openly, then everybody else witness that you did say that. Last thing about the shahada, people will witness for you on the day of judgment, whether it's good or bad. And first, there's a minor judgment and a major judgment. There's 3 different types of judgments. There's one in the grave. There's actual minor judgment, and there's an actual big judgment. That's a whole year's worth of learning by itself. But if you just happen to pass away, may Allah forbid, early, and allow you to have a long life and a bunch of good deeds to go with it. If you pass away, then you have to have your burial done per the guidance of Islam, because there's a whole ceremony that we do. It's nothing like how the church handles it. It's completely different. And those people who come to your funeral, they're bearing witness that you are a good Muslim. There are some people, and sometimes they say that if a person is not really such a good Muslim, then they won't pray over them because you're actually vouching. And if you come and if you come and to somebody's funeral, it's not really our say to say if somebody's bad, but like if Hitler was a Muslim and he like slaughtered people and then like died, and then we went to his funeral and was like, oh, y'all love you. We can ask forgiveness for the guy because he's Muslim, but you're vouching that he was good, so you might be held accountable too as an accomplice. Yeah. That's the good look on your. That facial expression is the right thought that you have. You don't want to be involved in none of that. You don't want to be I'd rather be an accomplice of somebody's crime than somebody's sin, because that sin ain't going nowhere. So, and the Prophet Muhammad said, there's a lot of evidence for that. As far as like the Prophet said, there was an older African lady that used to clean out the masjid all the time. And, nobody really knew her name. She used to come, listen to khutbah, learn, go on about her business. And one day she died, and the Prophet said, didn't know. He was like, I haven't seen, the older black lady, where she been at. And he was like, oh, well, she died the other day. They just blew it off. Like, oh, yeah, she did. And he got mad. He got mad. He was like real mad. Even though she wasn't like one of the people who was like fighting for Islam. She wasn't like teaching a bunch of people. She went with the Prophet all day, every day, like some other people. But she was a believer. When he gave khutbah, she was there. If the Prophet ﷺ noticed you, you were significant. There were people who were next to him a lot. They really wasn't that significant. He knew him, but not like that. So for somebody who nobody knew her name, and then the Prophet was like, hold on, time out. Where's that lady at? Then he was like, he told them, was like, why in the world didn't y'all tell me so I could pray for her? So we can do the Islamic burial, and we can ask forgiveness for her, and we can vouch for her to Allah. He didn't say all this, I'm paraphrasing. But so we can vouch to Allah for her salvation. Oh Allah, she was a good Muslim. Oh Allah, please protect her. And I can remind the rest of you all about death. So that's some evidence. And scholars build on that. So if you're a good person, people come and they know you're Muslim, you took your shahada. It might be a situation like that. Somebody randomly come to your funeral. Like they announce it just about every week. Sister so-and-so died. Your funeral will be here, so on and so forth. You don't even have to know sister so-and-so. You can go and say, what? Every time I see her in the masjid, she was making wudu and she was praying. Right. So that's the shahada. So everybody in the community knows you're Muslim, pay you your rights. If you want to get married, then our brother will know and you're available. Talk to the imam or her or somebody else so that you get married. Vice versa. Because there's some controversy. Muslim women can't and should not marry non-Muslim people. Whole conversation. Now, if you have a person that should get married, then he should become Muslim. He should. And I'm gonna put it in a nutshell. Women are the backbones to the men. Period. And if the feminists get mad at those types of statements now, We're not in the back of anybody. But, you know, this is mad, whatever. But if you look at the wisdom of that, the backbone is actually probably more important than the brain, because every nerve in your entire body is in your spine. And when your brain can give all these orders, but if those orders aren't carried out, those orders don't mean anything. So all those nerves, you know, they all branch out throughout the body, and it's all first wrapped around your spine. So you get the order from your brain to your spine, and then it goes to the limb.
So me, I have 3 kids. I'm single.
Okay.
I would have to date most of the days.
Well, we don't really date. Like, nobody should pick you up and hang out with you and, you know, do the whole Western American culture thing. We run out of time for that, but it's a lot of good brothers, a lot of great brothers, and most of them own their own businesses. Muslims are very into owning their own business, so they got some money, so we'll get you one brothers. And Muslim men are supposed to, but for the most part, like I said in the beginning, we all have a role, and Allah Ta'ala demanded that the man take care of the woman. That doesn't mean that he'll lose his job and you don't have money, and if you can work and you are working, you can't pull the load. That doesn't mean that you can't.
Because I had 3 kids, I'm a single mom.
She holds it together.
Yes.
I know the story. You know, you get a brother that's married, he has to pay your bills. When you get married, though, you can't say, I want to go to Westchester, or I marry you. You can't. You got to who you marry, how much money, you know. Y'all can talk about it. You can say, I don't want to marry somebody making $140,000. You can say that. It might be hard to find a brother who doesn't make that much, but it has to be reasonable.
It's not appointed, is it?
Huh?
It's not like picked.
Yeah.
No. I mean, people suggest. Like, people be coming up to you all the time. Like, hey,
Once you're in the community, sisters will get to know you.
Yeah, exactly.
I know a guy that, might be the brother, might be brother of a husband, might be the brother of a friend. So, and then it's not an arranged marriage to the point where you don't have a choice. You get to know him, but you will get to know him in public.
The Prophet Muhammad said that the marriage is invalid if you don't have the consent of the woman.
Absolutely.
So that stuff you see on CNN and Fox News, that is fake.
Fake news.
It's completely
Fake news.
fake.
That's the real fake news.
The real fake news is fake news.
Oh, goodness.
Malcolm X, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of his faults, he said the revolution won't be televised. So a lot of people think that means that, there'll be guns firing in the streets and then they won't film it. That's not what that means. That means that they're only going to tell you and show you what they want you to know. So if things are changing or if it's supposed to be happening, it's not going to be on the major branches. I believe it's not going to be on the major branches of the news. So now, it might be something going on, protesting. Yeah, of course they're going, but that's not something of substance. So that stuff you see on the TV about Islam, they probably be Muslims. I don't know, but there's a lot of evidence that they staged the going to the moon thing. Hollywood. You think what Hollywood can do now? Look what they can do. There's a lot. If people open up their minds and you look into that stuff, there's a lot of evidence. We'll never be able to prove it. But they could do anything with the cameras and whatnot. Look at the terrorist movies that they have nowadays. If you're a child and you look at that, you're gonna believe it. That stuff is real. They got the characters. They even have Arabs and Indians that volunteer to play those derogatory roles for women and brothers. I don't know why they keep doing that. People do it for money, but don't believe most of that kind of stuff. Stick with the books. The internet too. The internet is full of trickery. And you'll hear something and be like, I gotta do that? That's part of my religion, and it's not.
Question it all with somebody you know, and somebody you trust.
Yeah. So what about the cousin thing?
What? That you can marry your cousin?
Yeah.
I think that's true.
That's really true.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
No. No. Like
No.
your cousin is not like your actual.
Let's pray.
The scholars like here, that's like a customary thing. You got in mind. Islam is like from the ground up as far as what we should do and what we should not do. So a lot of stuff you read, it'll be from a tribalistic standpoint, and people build on top of that. Like I was locked up, so we called one of our teachers in the West Coast, and we told him like, man, we got a bad gang problem here, and a bunch of guys who were Muslim, who were gang members before they were Muslim, they still participate in this gang activity. What do y'all tell us? Islam didn't have Bloods and Crips during the Prophet's time. So the scholars build on instances that happened during that time. They had tribalism, the Quraysh versus the Bani Qaeda, or whoever. All of the Bani like those tribes. So they had all these different tribes and clans. So, it's all from I don't want to say preliminary, but it's, from the base. From so-called civilized societies or whatnot, so-called non-domestic societies.
Pre-civilized.
Huh?
Pre-civilized.
Yeah, what we call pre-civilization. But that's the way that, I'm sorry, I didn't finish that, but he told us how to deal with the gangs, or about the tribalism or whatnot. He told us about what the Prophet ﷺ did. When they moved to Medina from Mecca, it's time all these different people had became Muslim, and they had they joined Islam and moved to Medina together. And so they were like, some was a rivaling tribes, Bloods and Crips as far as the tribes. He said, your brothers, y'all sisters, you want to marry her? Okay, marry now, y'all family. So he basically taught the people more Islam and showed them that the next human being that's a Muslim, they get rights, blood, Crip or not. So. I hope I was good. Okay.
Thank you very much.